presentation of TFNN. The Tom O'Brien Show is produced every business day. Tom takes your phone calls toll free at 1-877-927-6648. Internationally at 727-873-7618.
Let's go to our man Al in Homosassa. What's going on, brother?
Isn't it wonderful? I went ahead and invested in your Tiger Dollars, and I went ahead and got the gold report for a year, and also your call letter and stuff like that. And I got over a 50% return in one day, not counting everything else. But I just want to thank you. Tom's not perfect, but he tells you how to put your stops in, and he keeps your losses small. You can take your small losses, but then all of a sudden you'll be like Babe Ruth, and you'll hit a home run. I mean, a big home run.
Yeah.
And put the money in your pocket.
Okay, brother. You're awesome, man. Thank you.
Now, Tom O'Brien.
What's going on, everybody? This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. Again, no camera for today, but that's all right. We'll get that moving sometime soon. Man, what a boring day in the market. Yeah, obviously I'm kidding. Today was very difficult for me to kind of get my thoughts together and, try to figure out what to attack first. I mean, you have some major stuff going on here, right? Obviously, you have DeepSeek, you have that yen trade, the yen carry trade blowing up for sure. We're going to talk about all this. We're going to try to create some kind of like operating framework. The real truth of the matter, and I'm speaking more on DeepSeek right now and kind of its impact, is we don't really know what this means. And I really do think there is so much haze that's going on, right? And you're getting what I think in some areas are extreme overreactions that are deriving from people not really understanding how all of this stuff works. And I'm certainly not claiming to be an expert on AI because I'm not. But I do read a lot, and I read a lot from people who are experts, have PhDs, work in these realms, and kind of getting a better understanding of what this necessarily means and what the impacts are, right? And so we'll talk about that. And there's definitely some ways, if what they're saying about DeepSeek is true, and that is a, huge if, right? Because what blows my mind is, from what I'm seeing, is people just taking this at face value, right? Like, no doubt compute's cheaper, okay? Like, that's legit. But I mean, this whole conversation on how much it costs to develop the large language model, right? There's a lot of confusion that keeps getting spread online about the cost of the compute, and no doubt it is cheaper, but some people are comparing these really small, inefficient distilled models and the cost for that compute to the top line models that ChatGPT and has, which is just not the way you should do that. But anyways, let's take a look right now. And another funny thing as well, I think we were kind of talking about this a little bit on Friday, right? How DeepSeek could cause a market panic. And I'm looking at my sheet that I wrote down for Friday, and I have Q short question mark, ASML short question mark, NVIDIA short question mark. And I need to pay someone just to be like, hey man, just do it. You don't even need to know what the market is. Let me know. DM me. SPY off about 1.77% at 597.37. And we are gapping down in a lot of ways here. Composite obviously, taking the brunt of this with being as tech heavy as it is. The composite off about 3.39% at 19,275. You have the Dow Jones Industrial up about 0.36%. Honestly, wow, nice. Russell off about 1.33%. That dollar not really moving at 107.36. Crude. Now, crude's getting knocked 2.10% to the downside there at 73.09. I believe natural gas is getting hit as well. Give me one moment here. Gotta mute something on my side here. Excuse me. Natural gas is gonna be down. Your uranium stocks are going to get slaughtered here as well. And again, we're going to talk about kind of the impact that this news kind of has on our whole play. Gold contract not doing anything except going to the downside at 1.31%. I am struggling to figure out what gold's place is in this market, right? It seems like everyone is just like heavy alpha seeking, I think is really what's occurring, and gold doesn't offer that. But I don't know. I mean, obviously, don't get me wrong, right? Gold has made some nice moves since the middle of December, right? You're trading it right at 2,600. You're trading right below 2,800. And maybe if I, considered volatility, given everything else, I would see that it's not so bad. You have copper off about 1.9% at $4.23, and then silver off about 2% at $30.56. Disney doing all right today. Lucid not doing too poorly, but off 2.69%. That's just kind of in its bounds. Meta up 0.25%. What is funny is Apple. This is just hilarious. Their AI attempts are just so horrible, and same with Meta's really, that it's just not a problem for them today. Apple's up 3.81% at 231. Meta's still up 0.29%. They probably have a lot of other things going on for them, but still, I mean, the CapEx is massive for the data center, right? And so really the barometer that we're going to have for what this means with data centers like TSSI and things for cooling like SMCI, we've got to wait to see, I think personally, what these larger companies do. If they start reducing CapEx, then I think that's a sign like, okay, these guys are really starting to realize that this is not a good thing right now. And then we really have to pivot from there. Nokia off a little bit, Steel Dynamics off. Tesla really shot here, off about 3.22%. Even with before people started realizing what DeepSeek was, and keep in mind, DeepSeek has been out for about like a week and a half now, and I think the weekend just gave time for people to kind of go out and get drinks and discuss stuff with each other. But even before that, I mean, with the investments in the Stargate project, which really was an investment into ChatGPT, I was negative on Tesla. We went over how they had less deliveries, right, in the quarters prior. I think they're not going to have a fantastic earnings, and I think everything going on right now in the realm of AI, which, of course they can leverage that with Grok and XAI and all this kind of stuff, right? I think that's not going to be able to float it the same way, even if what's going on with DeepSeek is actually not as existential as people are making it out to be right now. I still think Tesla gets in a bad spot. So I again, might go against my own advice that I usually provide, which is don't short Tesla. I might consider doing that. Folks, you stay right there. We're going to be right back with Steve Rhodes of Mastering Probability right after this break.
If you spend any time online researching trading techniques on how to begin your trading journey, you've no doubt come across many folks who push Forex trading as a way to make big money quickly. Unfortunately, there are equally as many stories of these so-called Forex professionals just looking to make a quick buck off aspiring traders without actually teaching the ins and outs of the Forex market. This is what sets Teddy Keckstack's The Tiger Forex Report off the riffraff. Every Monday, former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member and author Teddy Keckstack releases his Tiger Forex Report newsletter, where he dives into the complex world of Forex and takes time to actually teach you his methods that have made him so successful in the fast-paced and rewarding world of Forex trading. Furthermore, all subscribers receive access to archived live streams of Teddy's, where he provides university-level education to help you in Forex trading. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So what are you waiting for? Forex awaits.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
Are you ready to take charge of your financial future? TFNN is your gateway to the world of trading and investing. Whether you're starting out or scaling up, TFNN empowers traders and investors of all skill levels with top-notch investing systems, strategies, and techniques. It's time to protect and grow your money with insight you can trust. Join us live Monday through Friday during market hours for exclusive content that moves with the markets. At TFNN, we bring the trading floor to you. Our seasoned hosts are here to answer your calls and questions live on the air. Check out the Tiger's Den for just $1 and follow us on YouTube and become part of our vibrant community. And remember, at TFNN, we're so confident in the value we provide that we offer a 30-day money-back guarantee on all new premium newsletter subscriptions and services. You have absolutely nothing to risk, so why wait? Tune in live to Tiger TV and transform your trading journey, because when you know better, you invest better. Join us and experience the difference today. TFNN, educating investors.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jacob Shoup. You're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. Let's move over to something like a little less grim, okay? Actually, it's not grim at all. You know, one of the things that moments like this always kind of teach me in the market is it is so good to have other people to discuss some of these concepts with, because otherwise you're just within your own echo chamber, right? And that can lead to either inaction or the incorrect action. Obviously, the Tiger's Den on Discord is fantastic for that. But additionally, I really want to talk to you about our newsletters that we have. And specifically, we're going to talk about Mastering Probability newsletter. This is a fantastic newsletter. Steve is very thorough with everything going on in the market. These things really help me when days like this are occurring, right? Because I'm getting to kind of check my concepts against the concepts of people who've been trading for longer than I've probably been conscious as a human. Additionally, what I like about Steve is he has just very unique analyses, which I think kind of broaden the horizons for a lot of people and how they approach investing. So really strongly recommend checking out Mastering Probability newsletter. If it is your first time, you can do this risk-free. I know sometimes people can be a little hesitant to buy things online, but not to worry. We have a 30-day money-back guarantee on all of our newsletters, so you can check this out risk-free. If for whatever reason it doesn't work out for you, you can get your money back. I'm betting that it is going to work out for you. Steve Rhodes, how are you doing?
Doing great. These are wonderful days to actually be in the markets and explain to folks what it is that I'm seeing out there. So my apology for my voice. We'll do the best that we can out here. But, a day where you've got about a 10% move in the semis and a 4% move in the NASDAQ 100, those would seem like good days to be on, because questions that might enter somebody's mind is this the beginning of the end? Right. So I'm going to try to answer that story if I can. And the first place I'd like to start with, Jacob, is this chart right here. This is a monthly time frame chart for most of the major indices. When I say major indices, you've got the Dow at the top, the DAX is number 2, the FTSE in the UK is number 3, the Nikkei is number 4, the Shanghai, and then I've got the Hang Seng. So all of them are in there, and the white vertical lines identify major tops in the market. We've got the 2000 top, the 2007 top, and the 2020 COVID crash. Because they're so scrunched together, they don't show, you can see the tops. You'd see them even more if I didn't have them so scrunched together that way. But we know those were significant tops. The point that this chart makes is that when major tops form, it does so in all major indices. So that was the first point that I wanted to get across for everybody. The second point is when markets make major tops, what they will do is they will Is there a problem out here? No. What they will do is they will form the topping patterns that I teach each day for the daily, the weekly, and the monthly time frame. So the way that we know we've got a major top in the market, for example, this is the major top for the Dow going back to 2007. And on a daily time frame, we had what I refer to as the Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. The same thing for the weekly chart. The monthly chart had a TD9 count and a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top. Those clearly led to bear markets out there. We take a look at the DAX. So we just go internationally out here, because many times what people, this is where I see people fail the most, is they only think, or we only think in terms of ourselves. A little bit selfish out there to do that. Right. But when it comes to markets, we can't just think of ourselves. That first chart that I shared with you, where major market tops will form in all major indices at the same time, is really important. And then it's also important to understand, how do those tops get formed? Is it just happenstance? No, there's actual topping patterns. So the DAX back in 2007, when it topped, it had a Rhodes Momentum Indicator top for its daily, its weekly, and a TD9 count topping pattern for the monthly time frame. So we fast forward to today. What did the DAX do today? The DAX, the only topping pattern that the DAX has is a daily TD9 count top that went ahead and confirmed today. But we can see here that price came back and pulled back and tested a key level of support. And that's that green line that's called the oscillator and change line. So support is held. That means that so far the daily signal is neutral. The weekly chart doesn't even have a topping pattern in sight, nor does the monthly chart. This is suggesting that these two, both the weekly and monthly chart in the DAX, want to rally. And with the daily time frame holding that 21,114 level, support is held. Now, maybe overnight you start to see price trade below 21,114, so that's a number somebody should write down on their pad of paper out there. If so, the DAX will head lower. Its next key level of support is down at 2290 or 2726. Out there, those would be levels. If we fast forward and take a look at the Dow today, the Dow is it's a form bar 8 today, and it might form a TD9 count top tomorrow. When I take a look at the weekly chart and the monthly chart, we do have tops that are out there. So we're seeing obviously weakness here in the U.S. market, not necessarily in the international market. What's that mean? It means, okay, so we have a choppy market here in the U.S. We might see a further pullback. In the case of the Dow cash index, maybe we move back to the 43,665 level as an example. But we don't have this conglomerate of topping signals in U.S. and international stocks. If we look at the S&P 500, so we get a feel for what's going on in the U.S., no topping signal in place today for its daily time frame. Nothing for the weekly time frame. Last week, we closed at a new all-time high. We closed above all prior highs that were out there, let alone closes. And the same thing is true for the monthly time frame. No monthly top. So there is no major top that's in place here, at least as far as the charts that I see. And I'm saying this with clarity. If I take a look, what's the message of the equal weighted charts? So you've got the QQEW is the equal weight for the Qs, RSP is the equal weight for the S&P 500, EDOW the equal weight for the Dow. If we take a look at what their signals say, the RSP, so the equal weight for the S&P, its TD9 count is going to go away today, unless price somehow closes miraculously above 182.13. That pattern goes away. The topping, so what that means is that the topping pattern goes away. Doesn't exist. Typically the equal weighted ETFs will go ahead and point the way. If we take a look at what's going on inside the sectors, inside the S&P 500, here's what we're going to see. The XLK, which is the weakest of the sectors today inside the S&P 500, is testing support. It's testing its TD9 count. It's testing its market profile buy zone out here between 226 and 227. The XLV is rallying. It's testing its TD9 count breakdown resistance level. If it closes above that, tells us about a further rally. The XLF is targeting 51.49. That's a TD9 count breakdown level. It doesn't show up here on my chart, unfortunately. And the XLC, no topping pattern at all. It's only the XLK that's in trouble. But let's look at the other sectors. The XLE is just pulling back. It's trading with inside its profile. Maybe it's going to pull back to 89.19. In the case of the XLY, XLY, it's trading below its profile, so that suggests, the XLY is trading above its profile, so this is a bullish signal. The industrial sector has got a TD9 count top. Odds favor it pulls back to 137. The XLP is trading above its TD9 count breakdown area, 79.72. That's bullish. What I'm showing here is that we're not seeing bearish sectors even inside the S&P 500. The issue is with regard to the semis. Yeah. You didn't need me to tell you that. And the semis may pull back even further. But if you look at the monthly chart out here, look at this. This has been consolidating sideways for 6 months.
Yep.
we're just seeing a little bit of a blip so far today. Maybe it's going to turn into something more than that. But really, if we take a look at just the monthly chart, that's all you almost need to look at. That's a very upper panel, left-hand chart. Look at the bodies of those candles out there. It has been nothing but a sideways consolidation inside the semis for a 6-month period of time. Here is the Dow trading in major currencies. It closed at a new all-time high today in Australian dollars. This is not how major tops in the market get made. Right. Here is the Dow is trading above the day after the presidential election. This takes us back to the last 3 elections. You got to trade below that in order to really get bearish out there. So that's just simply what I'm seeing inside the marketplace.
Fantastic. Yeah, Steve.
Lastly, one last thing. This is the daily chart for the 4 daily equity future contracts. You can see that profile support is held on all of them. We're not getting any signals, at least not yet, at least not on January 27th, that this is the beginning of the end.
Steve, thank you so much. Great analysis as always. We hope you feel better. We'll see you Monday for sure, okay?
Take care.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
Steve Rhodes started his trading career as a student almost 20 years ago, and the student has now become the master. Steve won the prestigious Timer of the Year award in 2018 and barely missed that mark again in 2019, finishing at number 2 for the year. An amazing accomplishment. Steve Rhodes is committed to sharing his techniques and knowledge with anyone who wants to learn, and he shares his vast amount of trading knowledge every day in his Mastering Probability newsletter. Steve's award-winning newsletter, Mastering Probability, is delivered every trading day with updates throughout the afternoon. Sign up for Steve's market newsletter, Mastering Probability, and you'll receive access to 7 of Steve's educational webinars absolutely free. At TFNN, all our newsletters come with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have absolutely nothing to worry about. Visit TFNN.com and try Mastering Probability 30 days risk-free today. TFNN, educating investors.
This year has already been a wild ride for the market. We started off heavily in the red, and now it seems like we may be traversing back to all-time highs. In short, this market has been a whiplash and requires constant pivoting. Where does the market go next? Should I add to this position or cut my losses? Where is the next opportunity? Analysis paralysis. Don't become a victim of this intense market. Instead, join Larry Pesavento for the second and fourth Friday of every month for 4 hours of live trading. Larry has been through many markets just like this one, and his insights are invaluable. The next event is this Friday, January 24th from 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Eastern. If you subscribe today, you'll also be able to attend his session February 8th. Get in here and let's start trading. TFNN, educating investors.
This portion of the Tom O'Brien Show is brought to you by Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the direction. Visit Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
Welcome back, everybody. This is Jacob Shoup. Watching the Tom O'Brien Show. I was just joined by Steve Rhodes. Another fantastic analysis from him. If you don't know, he also is on at 11 a.m. Eastern Time. Really strongly recommend checking that out. Again, we have the Mastering Probability newsletter for you here as well. You can do that 30-day money-back guarantee. For whatever reason, it doesn't work out for you. Of course, I think that it will. Man, so I'm looking at a Tesla short right now, but I don't have much more to say on this than what I've already said on it. This, of course, is TSLQ. This is a 2-time short. So, if you don't want to buy whatever options and whatnot, you can do this. They're going to be releasing earnings on Wednesday this week, 29th. That is the only thing that's making me a little bit spooked out over everything. I'm actually going to pull up the earnings calendar because I think you have like ASML coming up. Let me see. So today you had AT&T knocked it out. SoFi not do as well. That's a weird company I don't know what to make of. RTX tomorrow, it's Raytheon, Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Starbucks. Starbucks might be interesting, right? I mean, you're getting this new CEO. I mean, he's a no BS kind of guy, it seems like. He's really cutting a lot of the ways that Starbucks has been a little bit liberal with how they interact with customers, and then also really simplifying the menu as well. And that's the natural course of business. That's the natural course of just life for a lot of businesses, right? Sometimes you get too bloated and we need to get back to basics, and then you launch off from there. So quite interesting. Wednesday, so yeah, you have Microsoft, you have Meta, you have Tesla, ASML. So my concern really with Microsoft, one, is its connection with OpenAI. So, if what DeepSeek is doing can actually be done at the costs they're saying that it can be done, then Microsoft has an issue. Meta also has an issue because they're going to have a really hard time explaining the CapEx that they just promised. Tesla, of course, has its issues, and then ASML. As far as things like ASML and Taiwan Semiconductors are concerned, this idea of needing less GPUs to perform workloads is fine, but in some ways, I feel like that can absolutely increase the demand for the GPUs. I mean, you have a lower barrier to entry to start making models, lower barrier to entry to compute. So, I mean, this increases, in theory, the adoption of language models because it's far cheaper. Yeah, you get everyone using it, right? And you just have this large aggregate push to the upside on some of these on these devices. And furthermore, these are going to continue to get more complex. I'm not sure we're really at the cap of what we could do as a species with AI. I think we probably won't be actually. So my argument with NVIDIA actually is that I'm not, and I have been, I think, a little bit bearish on NVIDIA because if you've been following along with me on all of this over the past few months, I don't think GPUs are necessarily the way to do this going forward. I think you're going to get a lot of specialized kind of chips, so your ASICs. You might even see CPUs being used. You might see things like large-scale wafers from Cerebras, all this kind of stuff. That's why I was so heavy on Broadcom, because they do these specialized things. Let me see here. Even so, let's take a look at Intel, because I was reading that this was going up a little bit today. Yeah, so it's actually, of course, it's off 2.28%. So I guess let's talk about it a little bit. This is with DeepSeek, right? And again, we talked about this on Friday. This whole idea is that some small group of quant guys or whatever decided they wanted to do an AI. So I think the company has a max of 200 people. They trained this whole thing for $5 million USD is what they said. And it essentially performs near peer with O1 and Claude, which is horrible, meaning that we've dumped hundreds of millions of dollars into these models, and the Chinese did it for, 5 million. That creates a massive, massive problem, if true. I think there are, and from reading people who are far more educated in this matter than I am, and then also just knowing a little bit about how it works, it seems like they did do some pretty novel things, right? Big things are moldy head latent attention. We're just going to name the things for you. FP8, which is a huge one that we can talk about. And I was actually arguing with having these lower floater points with things like Google's tensor processing unit, right? You don't need these hyper precise, like how do you say, you don't need hyper precise analysis on everything, right? It's almost like overkill. And the analysis that the Google engineers had used when we were covering TPUs and the potential for TPUs to be more dominant in the space of inference than GPUs was, they're like lower floater point essentially, right? So that's kind of interesting. What else is it? They use this chain of thought, which is pretty cool as well. You can see how it's thinking. And it maintains all of this at a way cheaper cost. Like the actual point of, or the actual cost of running it is way lower. And again, I think a lot of that has to do with the FP8. It uses less VRAM, which is a thing that we were arguing, you buy Marvel for, you buy Micron for. It just seems like this is could legitimately be an evolution in how inference occurs. Now, I don't think it really is an evolution in how you train the models, because I do think that DeepSeek is just kind of trained off ChatGPT. And there's been some instances of this floating around online where people ask DeepSeek, what are you? And it'll call itself a ChatGPT agent, right? And so that in and of itself, I think, it should be a sign that not everything is as it seems here. I think that the Chinese definitely have a lot of at least H200 GPUs. There's plenty of videos online that have been going on for months where Chinese factory owners are somehow getting these GPUs, right? And so the argument for training models being able to be done on last gen chips is probably not accurate. I believe they just somehow have these. And it's probably just skirting export bans, whether it's coming from Singapore or Hong Kong or wherever it might be. But it's no doubt that the ways they've changed inference were very clever and do result in I guess less cost. There's some theory too that this might be a loss leader, that they might be getting some funding in some capacity to keep these prices low. They have said that they might increase prices. So what I'm trying to say is, who knows for sure what happens here, right? We have to kind of take a look at what we've been looking at and see how this impacts our kind of plan going forward. Folks, stay right there. We'll be right back.
If you're looking for potential trading setups in the stock market, then Rocket Equities and Options Report is a newsletter you should try. Tommy O'Brien delivers options and equity trades when the markets present them, using a combination of fundamentals and technicals. Sign up for Rocket Equities and Options Report today with a 30-day money-back guarantee, so you have nothing to risk. For all the details and to start your subscription today, visit the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors. For traders who crave risk, Direxion's daily leveraged and inverse ETFs provide opportunities to magnify short-term perspectives with up to 3 times a daily leverage, utilize bull and bear funds from both sides of the trade, and trade through rapidly changing markets. These are highly leveraged ETFs with daily resetting, designed for short-term trading, not long-term investing. Whether you're a bull or a bear, you choose the Direxion. For up-to-date pricing and performance, go to Direxion.com. Investing in the funds involves significant risk and should only be utilized by investors who understand the impact of leverage and actively monitor their portfolio. They are not designed to track the underlying index or security for more than a day. Before investing, carefully consider a fund's investment objective, risk, charges, and expenses contained in the prospectus available at Direxion.com. Read carefully. Distributor Foresight Fund Services, LLC.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter, a must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the Newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN, educating investors.
TFNN has launched the Tiger's Den, hosted at Discord. TFNN has been educating traders for more than 20 years with live programming hosted by a variety of professional traders during market hours. The Tiger's Den, available to all tigers and tigresses for just $1 for the year. There's no catch or added costs when you join our community of traders. Sign up today and become a part of this educational community of traders. Just visit the front page of TFNN.com.
This program is brought to you by Vista Gold, traded on the NYSE American and TSX under the symbol VGZ.
Tom O'Brien.
Jacob Shoup watching the Tom O'Brien show. Thank you to Fletch in the Den for bringing it to our attention that there was a response from NVIDIA. So let's take a look here. I'm trying to find it. So NVIDIA on Monday said that Chinese AI firm DeepSeek's advances show the usefulness of its chips for the Chinese market, and that more of its chips will be needed in the future to meet demand for DeepSeek services. DeepSeek's work illustrates how new models can be created using that technique, leveraging widely available models and compute that is fully export control compliant. One of DeepSeek's research papers showed that it had used about 2,000 of NVIDIA's H800 chips, which were designed to comply with U.S. export controls released in 2022, but which experts told Reuters would barely slow China's AI progress. You know, you had that one guy as well coming out and saying, like, they had 50,000 H100 chips, and you have Elon Musk saying that it's not possible that they did this without those kind of chips. So again, the whole thing is just, it's not clear exactly what's going on. Now, I will say that news came out and you have a big bar here on the daily and kind of crawling back up, trading at 118.20 off about 17.11%. And I do think that GPUs will still be used. New models will still need to be trained. You'll still have post-training as well. I just think it's not as important, for inference, really, right? And that doesn't mean that the share of GPUs could go down, right? As far as like weighting is concerned, like when you're talking about all the things used in inference. But I think this still gets adopted very heavily. And so even if, they lose some market share to other kind of specialized chips, like TPUs, I think are just like lower floating points are going to make sense, right? Having an AI understand what it needs to use, like if you make a matrix of a bunch of different GPUs, TPUs, specialized, whatever PUs, right? And it understands what it needs to utilize hardware-wise to be efficient and get, an acceptable answer. I think that's probably how this will end up, right? And it doesn't mean that GPUs make less money or less important than they are now. It's just when it grows out, they'll just have a smaller weighting, I think is what's going on. So, I mean, we'll see what happens. A lot of this I do think is a huge overreaction. I mean, no doubt this is going to push American companies to have to adapt, right? I mean, now they're going to see the need to integrate some of these tricks that DeepSeek implemented, right? Which, by the way, are not like excessively novel in any way. These are things that people in the West have been discovering as well, in parallel, of course, with China. It's just, I don't know. It's amazing to me how disruptive this was, because I mean, Hugging Face had a model for about a week and a half now, right? And you could have, accessed that. As far as things that are overreacted as well, and kind of point to me thinking that this is a kind of an insane reaction is Nebius, right? And in fact, Nebius reached its high on the news that it was implementing DeepSeek onto its platform. And then today it sells off because of it. So there's some kind of irrational behavior going on here, right? Nebius is definitely majority, has a lot of retail owners in it. It was not getting a lot of attention from funds at all. I think it has at this point maybe like 2 analysts seriously talking about it. But this is Nebius. What they're offering, their compute and stuff like that is still going to be extraordinarily important, even if they are GPU clusters. Like GPUs aren't going to go anywhere immediately. It's still absolutely necessary. We're in the beginning stages of this. The big models need to get to inference to make money, but the development will still happen. So this, I think, in my opinion, I almost want to add more to Nebius at these levels, because I think this is just a miscalculation of what this business is supposed to be. And again, we reached 4366 on Friday because of the news of DeepSeek being integrated with their image generation, right? So that's strange to me. And then you have TSSI, which is also getting annihilated. That's off 23.10%. Really, with this company, and I am in this company. I bought on Friday. This can get a little spookier. It already had a high PE, so it was very risky, and that was a high PE for the industry as well. My reasoning in it is that it was close to where a lot of these guys wanted to build their data centers, and they're American, and they're not as sketchy as SMCI, right? So really, I think as far as like this is concerned with TSSI, we need to see what Meta is going to do. If they say, hey, whatever happened with DeepSeek, it doesn't matter. We're still going to be spending this money on data centers because we believe it's just that important, right? And even with the revelations of DeepSeek, it doesn't really matter. So that'll be interesting. I think that would probably breathe life back into the market. Of course, NVIDIA coming out here and saying this is super important. Very disappointed in people like, not that it matters, I mean, I'm just some guy, but that Sam Altman hasn't come out and really started tweeting about this in any significant way. At least from an hour ago, he hadn't. So the visibility on this, I think, probably needs to increase, because, I mean, you're seeing the market get slaughtered at this point. As far as things like, Micron, which I was interested in for basically high bandwidth memory, I think this runs into some problems. I mean, again, if you expand out, right, in theory, you just need to keep adding stuff. But, I think it's an issue, and it makes me take a pause real quick for adding into that. And then, of course, Marvel as well, which really took off because of their VRAM. Now, that's getting smacked as well, off 18.56% today. Now, things that I think are probably going to be an issue are going to be our photonics companies. So things like Poet, which is really the main one. These interconnects, I think, are going to get really hit. Marvel is doing interconnects as well, I believe. But it seems like there's probably going to be less of a demand for that because of some of these methods they implemented to make it just far more efficient to communicate. And again, is it true? I don't, we're going to find out. But I think that has an issue. OPTX, again, was really, as much as it was interesting to me, I didn't really take a position in it because I wanted to see more advancement on their end to interconnects for chips, so like inter-chip communication. I think probably what actually will end up happening is something like what Cerebras is doing. So I think it's going to get, interconnected communication or inter-chip communication is probably more efficient with these revelations. So it's going to probably reduce the need to figure out some fast way to solve the interconnect problem. I think that's pressures Cerebras to some extent, which due to large-scale wafers. Definitely pressures things like Poet or OpenTX, who are attempting to make things like this. Poet, of course, already has one. And energy companies. So, is that uranium, is that natural gas play still valid right now? And that's the sector that I'm the most skeptical of regarding a possible bounce back. Stay right there, folks. We'll be right back.
Many trading newsletters attempt to focus on a narrow set of equities or commodities. While this works for some, it oftentimes misses many opportunities that possess huge gain potential. But how is an independent trader supposed to scan the entire market looking for these hidden opportunities? One simple answer: the opening call newsletter. Basil Chapman, developer of the Chapman Wave trading methodology, has been trading the markets for longer than most trading influencers have been alive. And over that time, he has honed his methodology in order to accurately call movements in a wide range of equities, from semiconductors to uranium to key indices and so much more. Basil is old school, taking the time to educate the trader while also giving his insights into key indices, selective stocks, and more. Opening call subscribers also receive access to dozens of educational live streams that can be accessed at any time for your edification. All first-time subscribers receive a 30-day money-back guarantee. So ignore the pop trading influencers and start learning time-tested technical analysis.
In the world of trading, only a few names stand out like Larry Pesavento, a pro's pro with over 50 years of experience. Larry has seen it all. A former Chicago Mercantile Exchange member, Larry has authored 10 books and trained over 1,000 traders with his unmatched expertise. Introducing Fibonacci 24/7, Larry Pesavento's daily trading service that turns the complexity of markets into opportunities. Published every Sunday, receive a comprehensive report packed with detailed commentary, charts, and videos that illuminate the patterns shaping the markets, with updates throughout the week exclusively for subscribers. Whether through charts or videos, Larry's analysis is your roadmap to navigating the markets. You can sign up now at TFNN.com for just $97. And with all TFNN newsletters backed by a 30-day money-back guarantee, you have nothing to risk. For all the details, visit TFNN.com. You'll find Fibonacci 24/7 right under the newsletters tab.
The reality is that navigating financial markets can be risky. Markets can be chaotic and difficult to understand. Having the latest market advice can help you turn this chaos into a key for creating winning trades. At TFNN, we understand that it can be hard to find reliable market news. That's why each of our market experts offers their very own market newsletter. A must-have tool for every trader out there striving to find an edge in today's markets. TFNN newsletters cover every aspect of the markets so you can analyze the market before you trade. Try any of our great newsletters risk-free with our 30-day money-back guarantee. Just visit the newsletters tab on the front page of TFNN.com. TFNN. Educating investors.
Don't forget, you can listen to TFNN live on your mobile device 24 hours per day. Go to TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV. That's TFNN.com, then hit Watch Tiger TV.
Welcome back, everybody. Jacob Shoup, you're watching the Tom O'Brien Show. We have a short segment here. Something interesting to note about DeepSeek, which is kind of strange. One, they were getting hit with a cyber attack, so I think they stopped all non-mainland Chinese access to it for some certain amount of time. I'm not sure if that's back online. But I was reading some stuff from researchers over the weekend, and they actually gave it something called a halting problem, right? Which is designed by Turing, and this idea that, you give it this computer, you give a computer some problem, right? It'll keep trying to solve the problem, or it will halt, right? And obviously you do kind of want it to halt if it's not going to work. Now that's not really the point of it, but you think about it in a security flaw way. If you can get a computer or some program to constantly be trying to solve a problem and redirecting resources to it, you can get it to crash and do something strange. So someone found that if you try to test the halting problem or some variant of it on DeepSeek, it actually will just continue to compute it at least up to about 35 minutes before the guy stopped it, which is a massive problem. And so I wonder if, like, to some extent, that's what was going on with it. Now, of course, probably not. This is most likely some kind of like DDoS attack. We'll know more about that. But yeah, I mean, this is a pretty insane day. We need to get more visibility from our like tech CEOs on this kind of stuff, and we're not seeing anything yet. Obviously, Wednesday will be a defining event for the market. You're gonna have the FOMC. And you're gonna have Microsoft, Meta, Tesla, ASML earnings, IBM earnings. I mean, that's like, it's almost spooky, isn't it? Anyways, folks, thank you so much for joining me. If you want any information or research papers from people who are far more educated than me on stuff like machine learning or AI, just email me at jacob@tfnn.com. I will send you a bunch of stuff I was reading this weekend. Take care, folks.
Building wealth